All right. We are officially going live. Appreciate everybody for tuning in tonight. I got my co-host Majestic from St. Louis.
What up, what up, what up, what up? What up, everybody? Thank you for tuning in once again.
Right. Perfect. Let everybody get logged in. I'm going to get going on rolling this L. And we got a lot to talk about, Majestic, don't we?
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Can't wait. Can't wait.
It's good, man. How's everything going in St. Louis, man? Give everybody a Midwest report.
Let's see. So far, so good. The weather is cold, like anywhere else, but I'm pretty sure it's colder down there where you at.
Freezing. Connecticut.
Didn't hear about no killings today. That's a good thing. You know what I'm saying? So, other than that, everything's slow motion, man. So, how's everything going down there?
Well, everything here in Connecticut, it's slow motion. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Regular shit. Nothing really going on too much.
Right.
I see French Montana's moving with his artist CJ. And I see Ja Rule is back in the news.
Ja Rule. Let's talk about it,
Ja Rule is back in the news, man. So let's get a little clear everybody's perception of what St. Louis's take was on the whole Ja Rule and 50 Cent beef. Once 50 came into the picture, was everyone in St. Louis canceling Ja Rule?
Everybody, when I say it, listen, everybody was on 50 coattail. You hear me? Like when I say 50 was that guy, 50 was that guy from the mixtape era. Like I remember being young and then they was like, yo, you ever heard of this guy named 50 Cent? And I got hip to him. You know what I'm saying? So especially from things like Power the Dollar, is it called No Mercy? Excuse me, everybody. No Mercy, No Fear, stuff like that, man. I'm telling you, 50 was the main. 50, but you know what I believe? I believe that everybody thought that at that point in time, Ja Rule was at the height of his career. Ja Rule was at the height of his career. So we like, oh man, this is about to go crazy. You got Murder Inc., you got G Unit, this is gonna be something. But then, from our perception down here, he got murdered.
Right. That's interesting that you say that, Majestic. So Majestic is basically saying, for everyone tuning in, this is my co-host Majestic out of St. Louis. He's giving us the St. Louis perception of the 50 Cent and Ja Rule beef. And basically he's saying that they were ready for a battle between the artists. Ja Rule was at the height of his career. 50 was coming in as the nominated for a Grammy, Best New Artist. Majestic and St. Louis were thinking they were going to get a war.
Yeah.
Some of this article that we're going to read today actually goes into Ja Rule explaining why we didn't get that war that a lot of us online thought we were going to get with 50 and Ja Rule. Now at first it was Pac versus Big, right? One coat neck. But now we've got 50 and Ja, New York, going at it.
Right. I thought it was going to be a battle, man. I really did.
So I'm reading this report today, Majestic. It's on Media Takeout for everyone just tuning in. Mikey, movie star here, my co-host, Majestic from St. Louis. The article I'm reading is on Media Takeout. Ja Rule speaks on the 50 Cent beef. 50 was playing victim to the feds, is what Ja Rule is saying. So amid his high-profile beef with 50 Cent, Ja Rule's career took a nosedive after the feds came after him for taxes owed. So, Ja Rule ended up having to serve some time for a tax-related situation. Fat Joe had gone to jail on a tax-related situation. But I think this nosedive of Ja Rule's career really came before all the taxes.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. I believe that.
Maybe if Ja Rule's career hadn't taken a nosedive, maybe he would have went and served a couple of years for the tax problems. Maybe he would have just paid it off.
Yeah, that's what I think. I mean, but I think his career was pretty much damaged before any of that happened. Because 50 was already laying his grounds. He knew what he wanted to do.
Yeah, it's a conversation for another day. But I think Ja Rule, his run was really over by the time his fourth album, The Last Temptation, came out. When he released that single with Bobby Brown, Majestic Thug Lovin', like that was a bad idea.
You ain't like that one?
Hell no, hell no. He and then Mesmerized was kind of cookie cutter. You know, it wasn't always on time. It wasn't I'm real. You know, it wasn't as good as those other records.
Right.
Just in my opinion. Primo VA said, "What's up with Dark Low?" I was just chatting it up with Dark Low the other day. I had sent him my interview with Cassidy when Cassidy was speaking on it. Majestic, what's that noise on your end, bro? So, continuing on with this media takeout article. In a recent interview, Ja Rule tells his side of the story, accusing 50 of pretending to be a victim to the federal authorities. So that's basically what we're here talking about today, Majestic. 50 Cent pretending to be a victim to the federal authorities. Is this something that'll happen in the street a lot, Majestic? Will you have like a hardened kingpin play victim to the feds?
I mean, I guess it depends on the certain situation and what type of dude you is. You know what I'm saying? You got some people that's act macho and stuff like that, but behind closed doors, that ain't them. It's a whole different situation. But I think with that situation, it might be true. I'm not sure. You know what I'm saying? But playing both sides. But I really think that he was just trying to get him out the way. To be honest.
We'll dig a little bit further into it as the article goes on. So it says Media Takeout reports that in a recent interview, Ja Rule tells his side of the story, accusing 50 of pretending to be a victim to the federal authorities. They F your whole world up, Ja Rule told Up Rocks. They shut down everything. They shut down everything for Murder Inc. People like to credit Homeboy. N-word, please stop it. We've seen 100 billion rap beefs. No one man shuts it down. Stop it. What really hurt us was the feds. First off, Majestic, let's dip into that. Ja Rule here is vehemently denying that 50 Cent was the reason that Murder Inc. stopped. Now, as I was just saying, Majestic, by The Last Temptation, I feel like Ja Rule's music was starting to slow down as well, though.
Right, because 50 took his focus off of his craft. You know what I'm saying? And when you do stuff like that, when you can get somebody to be nervous or anything, I don't care what Ja Rule say. Ja Rule was nervous. You know what I'm saying? Ja Rule was nervous because 50 was coming at him with it. And it threw him off his game. But with that Fed stuff, I think his career was already going in shambles.
Now, Irv Gotti had a weird way of putting his label out, Majestic. He would only put out Ja Rule and Ashanti. He never gave the other guys an opportunity to actually put out their albums, like Black Child, like Cadillac Ta, like Charlie Baltimore, like Vita. I'm talking about multiple people. I'm not just talking about two.
So do you think, do you think that it was more about hits? Because when Murder Inc. was on their run, it was nothing but hits. They had hit after hit after hit. Maybe that's what it was, and did everybody else CD, live up to the hype of Ja Rules and Ashanti's? I don't know.
Right. But, he just didn't have any other proven sales history. I mean, if you at least had Black Child dropping and selling 50,000 to 100,000, Charlie Baltimore coming out selling 80,000, 30,000, whatever she's going to sell, prove that you can put together a budget. Like if you got an artist that can sell 30,000 copies, put together the right budget to work on that album that'll then go on to sell 30,000 units. You know what I mean?
Right.
I want to get your take on this before we go any further. Dark Beard says, 50 stole Ja Rule style. Do you agree with that, Majestic? What's your take on it?
Ooh, that's a good one right there. I remember in one song, 50 said, switch the style up, and if they hate, then let them hate, but watch the money pile up. And immediately after that, he started singing. And so I really can't believe how, I don't understand. How can you go at somebody about singing and then you go into it doing the same thing? So I think he did. I ain't gonna say he stole his style, but I think he did it as a mockery, like, you know what I'm saying? I'm doing what you're doing, but I'm doing it better.
Was he doing it better, Majestic?
Yeah, at a point in time, he was. At a point in time, yes, he was. Ooh, 50 was on the road. He couldn't miss once upon a time, man.
All right, so let me ask the chat then. In the chat, what do you guys think? 21 questions or I'm real? Because me all day, I'm going, I'm real.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, let me get back into this, Majestic. So
Okay.
Ja Rule said that they F your world up. They shut down everything for Murder Inc. People like to credit Homeboy. N-word, please stop it. We've seen 100 billion rap beefs. He's exaggerating. No one man shuts down. Stop it. That what really hurt us was the feds. When the feds come, they take all your resources. They take your money. They take the people who give you money. They take the people who give you money, sever their ties, or they make the people. I think instead of take, it was they make the people who give you money sever their ties. Def Jam severed all ties with us. We didn't have anything anymore, and then these guys hit us on full attack. So that's basically what Ja Rule is saying there, Majestic. He's saying that Def Jam backed away from them. They backed away out of a big multi-million-dollar contract, basically not enabling Murder Inc. to release albums anymore.
But what does he could have released an independent song going at 50? You know, that was a totally different thing when the feds came in. Like that has nothing to do with your talent. They might have took your money, but they ain't take your talent. So at the end of the day, just give it up, man. 50 killed you. 50 killed you.
Well,
that's my take on it.
It's obvious that Majestic feels like 50 killed Ja Rule. But in this article, well, Ja Rule has pretty much been explaining things for the remainder of his career. And we're going to get a little bit deeper into that here, where Ja Rule takes away the fact he's saying 50 did not destroy Murder Inc. The feds came in and they basically they pulled away all of our strengths so these guys could come in and attack us when we were at our lightest, when we were at our least defendable position. This is what he's saying. That's why he's saying that G Unit came in with such a flurry of success, which I'm not totally sure if I agree with. Yayo and Banks were much better than Ja Rule's supporting cast, but then Ja Rule speaks directly of Fifth's involvement. Because right here, Ja Rule said that they make the people who give you money sever ties. He said, he continued, I don't care what anybody says. 50 was playing both sides of the fence. You playing victim to the feds and the police, telling us those guys that are rolling with Supreme McGriff did this to me, got me shot. And then over here, you're playing the bully role. So basically what he's saying is that 50 was going to the police and saying, listen, the guys that have an issue with me, they have somebody in their corner who is a street heavyweight. And then 50 was going on record and being the street heavyweight, jumping, talking on all the tracks. Yo, I run this shit. Smurf, go get yourself a toothbrush. All that crazy shit he was doing.
Right.
Elgin says, I believe people gravitate to 50 because of his gangster persona.
I agree. Remember, we in the music industry now. If you can sell it and it's believable, they'll take it. They'll take it. The world will gravitate to it. Sure will.
Murr says 50 is better than Ja.
I agree with that.
50 is better than Ja. So we're reading this article for everyone tuning in. Basically, Ja Rule is going back at it. Ja Rule is going back at it with 50, and he's basically claiming that 50 is playing both sides of the fence when it comes to the feds. When it comes to the feds' interest in the Murder Inc. case, 50 is playing both sides of the fence. Ja Rule is just speculating, I think, Majestic. I think he's speculating on the conversation that 50 probably had with the feds, saying, I don't care what anybody says. 50 was playing both sides of the fence. You playing the victim to the feds and the police, telling us those guys that are with Supreme did this to me, got me. And then over here, you're playing the bully role, the tough guy role. For me, it was a very difficult moment, a hard thing for me to go through when everything was crumbling. He admits, now listen to this, Majestic.
Okay.
Ja Rule admits that 50 won the beef because he got tied up in legal issues.
I don't believe it. I don't believe that, man. Like 50 came at him with everything he had. Lyrically. Now, while you going through your stuff, you know, it's always a period of time while you're going through your little situations with, you know, the feds, the court, whatever, everything. It's always a period of time. You could have clapped. You can't. What do you put? Clap back and stuff like that. It just wasn't good enough.
Album.
It wasn't good enough.
Majestic. Ja Rule went and got an old member of Tupac's Outlaws, Hussein Fatal, rest in peace. He went and got Hussein Fatal and brought him on the album and featured him on a couple tracks. He got Tupac's old homie to diss 50.
And was it good enough? That's what you asked. And it was not good enough. I'm sorry. You know? So 50 did what he set out to do, and he won. So Ja Rule, you know, you can't use as a no excuse. You know? What, you need more time to come up with another song? Ah, man.
Well, he had a couple songs, man. He had R.U.L.E. with R. Kelly ready to go. You know what I mean? What else did he have? He had New York with Jadakiss and Styles, Jadakiss and Fat Joe, excuse me. You know what I mean? He had some records ready to go, but like you said earlier, he got thrown off of his game.
Now let me ask you a question. If he never would have paid 50 attention, and continued dropping the hits, would he have still been on top?
Well, you see, that's what I was saying earlier. For everyone just tuning in, I think Ja Rule's run at the top was coming to an end anyways. The Last Temptation was not as good as Pain is Love. You know what I mean? The last
right.
It wasn't as good as Rule 336. And somebody said, do not forget Veni Vidi Vici. Very great debut album from Ja Rule.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Ja Rule was a walking hit machine, man. He really was. I truly believe that if he would have ignored 50, he would have been doing his thing. But like you said, he was coming down, you know. But who knows? Who knows what would have happened?
The real King Eddie said the man dry snitched on Ghetto Quran. Yo, it's not like 50 rapped on the Ghetto Quran. Yo, Supreme is back in Irv and Ja, and they came after me, and it was a sting. You know, it's not like he was rapping that on the Ghetto Quran. He was rapping about how old hood legends would come through the hood dragging jet skis, you know, through the block, and you'd be there sitting on the block, and you'd be like, yo, there's so-and-so driving through the hood, and he has jet skis on the back of his whip. I aspire to be there. You know, that Majestic.
Yeah. And I mean, for what he just said, at the end of the day, like we saying, we just reporting everything. You know, we just getting everybody take on everything. So don't look at it like we defending somebody or stuff like that. We're not doing that. Nah. At the end of the day, we want to know what you guys think. You know?
Well, one person here says, Ja Rule stopped making hardcore music, which Veni Vidi Vici was full of hardcore music, probably
right.
Aside from the record for his daughter, you know, that he did. I'll always come back for you. Remember that record?
Right.
Yeah, Ja Rule had some shit, but it wasn't any really girly music. His girly music started on Rule 336, where you're right. Ja Rule started to catch a lot of comparison to DMX. Was that comparison being thrown out there in St. Louis, Majestic, or no?
I didn't hear that too much. I just heard about the drama DMX had with him. I didn't hear too much about the comparison. Well, you know what? I do take that back because they was saying he wanted to be him.
Right. That's what DMX's issue was. DMX kind of
like,
yo, you kind of sound like me, dog. What do you think, dog?
Yeah.
Like, which was kind of crazy in my eyes because I never really thought they sounded, because my brother had the DMX albums and then I bought the Veni Vidi Vici album. So
Right.
I don't really thought they sounded that much similar.
I mean, me personally, I thought, the same thing everybody else thought, like he was just trying to be like Pac. You know what I'm saying? That's what I thought.
Was there a similarity in the chat? Was there a similarity to Holla Holla and Get At Me, Dog?
Mm.
Yep, beefing with DMX, beefing Majestic. Going back to your point, if he would have not beefed with 50, would anything have happened? Because of the fact that Ja Rule beefed with DMX, he lost fans.
Yeah.
Fans over
Yeah.
that. But
Exactly.
Ja Rule's bread and butter was the female fan base as well.
But I think that 50 did exactly what he was supposed to do. Because I mean, if you do your research, I remember when 50 was about to blow with Get Rich or Die Trying, even over there, Jay-Z came in there and told State Property, everybody, yo, get whatever y'all finna get, put it out there, get it buzzing because 50 is coming. And he knew it. He knew it. So I think really 50, he took advantage of what he was gonna do. And he knew it. He stumped him because once he dropped, he knew he was gonna run everything. So
Yep.
I just think that was a good win for him. That was a good win. Good strategy.
Randy Sutton says Majestic knows his shit.
Yeah, right on, Randy. What's up, homie?
So Majestic, there was something that sparked my interest when I was looking at Supreme. I was actually looking at Supreme McGriff's Instagram page, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm looking at Supreme McGriff's Instagram page, and I see he has a letter. He has a letter talking about, writing to Obama or whatever. But in the letter, he also mentions that he did not get to take the stand on his own behalf in his trial. And that's one of the reasons that he would like another trial.
So he never got a chance.
He never got a chance to take the stand. And I wanted to read this letter that he actually posted on his Instagram page. He said, this is what Supreme McGriff had to say. He said, I am writing this second missive to add clarity to my first open letter to the President Obama in 2017. Some people misconstrued what my fight is really about. I want to be perfectly clear here. My fight is not about getting out of prison or a pardon. My fight is about my guaranteed constitutional right to testify in my own defense. If denied my right to testify, I must be granted a new trial. That's what Supreme is going on off about here. He's not just saying that he wants to get out. He wasn't talking about a presidential pardon from Obama before Obama left office. He's just talking about the simple fact. Supreme is talking about the simple fact that he wasn't able to testify in his own defense at his trial. Therefore, he should be granted a new trial.
Right. And I guess that was swept up under the rug and they looked over that, huh?
Yes. So continuing on here, it says, if denied my right to testify, I must be granted a new trial. Isn't the absolute fact that I never knew the star witness, Terrence Terrell, deserving of an inquiry? Is my truth not even worthy of consideration? Make me drink the bitter cup, but with dignity and my rights respected. If the star witness perjured himself, common sense calls into question the credibility of the entire process. It would have been constitutional to go to trial and not testify. So Supreme is looking for another way to get another trial. He wants to jump on the stand and testify in his own self-defense. King says he should be granted another trial.
I feel the same way.
You feel the same way? There were rumors that 50 Cent was actually going to testify against Supreme at one point.
I doubt that. I highly doubt that. How could you be at the top of your Nope.
Okay, so you're saying that 50 would never jump on the stand and testify against Supreme?
No. That don't even make sense. Why? You at the top of your game, and the first thing you ready to do, if that would have happened, is run and jump on the stand. 50 already know the code. Right. He know the code. He ain't running with that. That's some he say, she say stuff right there.
Jumping on the stand will end your career.
End it. End it.
So guys, let's get into this article for everyone just tuning in. We're speaking on Ja Rule actually coming back out and saying that 50 Cent is playing both sides of the fence. For everyone tuning in, I want to let you all get in tune with my co-host Majestic from St. Louis.
Salute.
Bro.
Appreciate you.
I want to bring in our other co-host, RBH from New Haven, Connecticut.
My God.
Fellas.
Ryan, I thank you for tuning in. Majestic, we have 260 people in here. Can I please get a circle of wealth?
The circle of wealth. Bum, ba, bum, bang.
Guys, welcome to the Circle of Wealth podcast. Today, we're reading an article that was on Media Takeout. Ryan, RBH, Majestic, let's get back into it. Ja Rule speaks on 50 Cent beef. 50 was playing victim to the feds, RBH. This is what Ja Rule is coming out and saying now. So the article reads, amid his high-profile beef with 50 Cent, Ja Rule's career took a nosedive after the feds came after taxes were owed. Ja Rule went to jail for taxes, just like Fat Joe. Media Takeout says that his career kind of took a nosedive after that. I think Ja Rule's career really took a nosedive before his fourth album, The Last Temptation, when Thug Lovin' and Mesmerized didn't take off as much as I'm Real and Always on Time, personally.
Yeah, I agree.
It's like right when he was going up, he started going down. Right when he hit that decline, here come 50.
But it was gonna happen regardless. Soon as 50 came out, all that other stuff, it was gonna die down. He said it.
Yeah.
So no matter if they was beat for the night, he would have had to move out the way anyway. Ja Rule time was up.
Yeah, big facts.
Ja Rule was 4 albums in at this time. So this is what Ja actually had to say, guys. In a recent interview, Ja Rule tells his side of the story. And RBH, I want to get your reaction to this. So in a recent interview, Ja Rule tells his side of the story, accusing 50 of pretending to be a victim to the federal authorities. They F up your whole world, Ja Rule told Up Rocks. They shut down everything for Murder Inc. People like to credit Homeboy. N-word, please stop it. We've seen 100 billion rap beefs. No one man shuts down. Stop it. What really hurt us was the feds. When the feds come, they take all your resources. They take your money. They make the people who give you money sever their ties. Def Jam severed all ties with us, and we didn't have anything anymore. And this is when they all came in on full attack. Now, Ja Rule, to me, seems to be blaming the decline in Murder Inc. on the feds coming in, which we've heard over the years. What's your take?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that definitely played a huge part of it. But even outside of that, you can't deny 50 messed up his money. You know what I'm saying? The whole buzz. I mean, like, yo, your album sales are declining, your ticket sales are declining, your worth is declining. People don't want to be associated with you because it doesn't even look cool to be associated with you. Plus, you got the feds running in on you and all that, bro. Yeah, don't nobody want to touch that. So I would say it was both. Definitely, the feds played a big, you know what I'm saying, tied up the money and they were hit. But you can't deny those mixtapes. The whole, everybody switched on Ja Rule. I remember on 106 in Park when AJ and Free were bringing this is after 50 came out. This is like the downfall of Murder Inc. and all that. AJ and Free were actually like before they brought Ja Rule out, they were like, who still has love for Ja Rule? Who still has love for Ja Rule? And everybody started clapping and all that. I was like, damn. Crazy, bro. Crazy. So it was on both sides, man. The feds and 50.
That's crazy. You hear Ryan bringing up these old pieces of news that you got to remember if you're a true hip hop fan. Now, Ryan, RBH, Majestic, it takes a little bit of a turn here. Now, Ja Rule, at this point, he was talking about the decline of Murder Inc. He's talking about the feds coming in, taking all their music, but he takes a whole different turn at this point, man. Ja Rule goes on to say, Ja Rule, he then speaks directly on Fifth's involvement in everything. Ja Rule continued, I don't care what anybody says. 50 was playing both sides of the fence. You playing a victim to the feds and the police, telling us those guys that are with Supreme McGriff did this to me. They got me shot. And then he's over here playing the bully role, the tough guy role. For me, it was a very difficult time, Ja Rule said, a time for me to go through this when everything was crumbling. So basically, he's saying that 50 was basically playing both sides of the fence. At one point, he's acting all, to the police. He's like, yo, they're doing this and that to me. They're beating me down. They shot me. And then on the record, as you heard, he's like, yo, I'm going to come and beat your ass in Queens. He's going crazy.
Yeah,
that was crazy.
I mean, if that is true, that does play into the whole order of protection. You know what I mean? That plays into that whole thing too. So it's like on one hand,
but didn't they look into it on that beef DVD? Did they try to find it? I mean, was it even true? Go ahead.
Well, they did. They pressed it up and then they put it in the Source magazine after they went on Hot 97. It was like right before The Last Temptation came out, I think, and then 50 wrote it off as a publicity stunt.
Yeah, but all right. So Irv Gotti said, nobody believed me. Nobody believed me when I brought the order of protection to Hot 97. Okay, Irv, why didn't you bring that everywhere? Why weren't you plastering that on your MTV TRL interviews, your BET 106 in Park? Why were you not putting it? Like, why wasn't that one of the main things that they were promoting? When Irv says that he promoted it, I call bullshit on that, Ryan.
Nah, yeah. Outside of it being in the Source and them taking it to Hot 97, I didn't hear nothing else about it.
So we got a super chat from Frank Had. 50 Cent killed. 50 Cent killed Ja Rule. He should have let 50 be. Maybe he would have had a career. RBH, do you want to respond to that?
Nah, honestly, I think Ja should have fought fire with fire. You know what I'm saying? I think when the diss records started coming, like you can't sleep on him. You know what I'm saying? Like at first, Ja was like, who's 50 Cent? I don't know this guy. I don't know this guy, trying to play it off. Then he didn't respond. He said he was going to stick to the Murder Inc. sound, the classic platinum sounds that he do. So then he let his boys like Black Child, Cadillac Ty, he let them kind of take on the beef. They had freestyles to Wanksta, you know what I'm saying, getting that 50. Black Child too. Black Child, you know what I'm saying, he's another member of the crew. And then like, all right, that's cool. But then more time goes, G-Unit keeps on smashing them with the mixtape, smashing them. So now Ja Rule wants to put out an album, Blood in My Eye.
Involving M, involving Busta Rhymes, involving Dr. Dre.
Yep.
Now, Ryan, RBH, Majestic said everyone in St. Louis, they were expecting more of a battle here. Ja Rule just coming from the height of his career, 50 emerging, Grammy-nominated, best artist. Majestic said that St. Louis was expecting a war between these two, but like you said, 50 downplayed the beef. 50 said, yo, Black Tie, Cadillac Ty, take it. And another note I had mentioned, Ryan, now that you're on it, Blood in My Eye, the album, Ja Rule actually brought in Hussein Fatal from the Outlaws to feature him. He brought in and somebody asked in the chat, what do I know? I know that Ja Rule brought in one of the Outlaws to feature on his whole album, dissing 50 Cent. What did you make of that, RBH?
Trying to get more credibility, rolling off of that rant that he did with I think it was Angie Martinez on Hot 97. Y'all want to see Pac come back? Y'all want to see that? He's here. You know what I'm saying? So like he was really trying to be Tupac cut his head bald. You want to cut your head bald. Tupac wear a bandana. You want to wear a bandana. You ain't Tupac. This Tupac. You know what I'm saying? Like, bruh. Yeah, he was really trying to ride it. You know. And then Lloyd Banks said it. You on your album cover taking prayer pictures, and you ain't even get shot yet. You scared. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was calling him out on everything.
Guys, let's address a couple questions in the chat. Dallas Troy said, answer this. Why did Nas sign with Murder Inc.? Well, truthfully, Nas was toying with the idea of signing to Murder Inc. Why? Because Murder Inc. was the number one label right aside of Rockefeller. If Nas would have signed to Murder Inc. and 50 never existed, then that would have been a major move. But the whole thing happened with Nas doing a partnership. Nas actually saw Murder Inc. start to crumble, pulled away from the partnership. Something you guys might not know, Majestic, RBH, everyone in the chat. There were plans of Ja Rule and Nas to be pulling around New York, all over New York with Lamborghinis, side by side, going through every different borough of New York, promoting their career. How major would that have been, RBH, with those
that
two?
would have been crazy. That would have been crazy, man. That would have been a move. Another thing I want to elaborate on is another reason why Nas would want to sign with Murder Inc. Irv Gotti. Irv Gotti is an incredible producer. I don't know if you guys tuned into the Ashanti Keisha Cole battle, but listening to Ashanti's catalog, the majority of her hits were produced by Irv, bro. Like Irv is the reason why she is who she is, not for nothing.
I agree with that. I agree with that.
Okay.
He was nice with it.
Another question from the chat was, but Ron C said, but Bangum Smurf and Domination was killing Murder Inc. on the mixtapes. Let's not forget. I actually just heard a diss song that Domination did on Ja Rule, and man, he slayed him. Now, a story for everyone in the chat, and I don't know if you know this, RBH, but I actually brought Domination. Well, you know this. I actually brought Domination to the Crack House. I brought him to Murder Inc. Studios. Yeah. That's why I got love for Ja Rule, man. Like when Ja Rule heard that I pulled up into the studio, my boy told me, he was like, yo, when they told Ja Rule that you were here, Ja Rule was like, Mikey T! Oh, that N-word's crazy. Ja Rule be knowing my shit like that. Yeah, meeting Ja was dope. We rolled up a Dutch and all that. You seen I had some Dutches. He's like, you got the Dutches. We did a pretty dope interview. I know you remember that, guys.
Yeah,
most definitely.
Elgin says Nas would have. Everyone in here, let's share this video. We got 300 people. We got 300 people in here. Let's share this video, you guys. Nas would have killed 50 in a beef. Majestic, do you want to take this one? I do want to say one of the only times I heard Nas diss 50, I believe it was on the Untitled album, and he said that the reason that 50 is as successful as he is because of the White Boy and Dre.
Well,
yeah.
I mean, that might be, but you can deny that. Get Rich or Die Trying. You can't deny them hits. You can't deny it. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, I just feel like Nas is a great artist. Nas is a great artist. But at that particular moment, I don't think nobody could have messed with 50. I don't.
Ryan, rebuttal that, man. Could nobody have messed with 50? His lyrics were kind of like, it was like a glass jaw. I mean, let's look at I Run New York. Let's look at some of his hits like that. Some, you know what I mean? Some of his records like that weren't that strong.
I mean, if Nas could have actually focused and you know what I mean, and made a song like a Ether, because that there was rumors that the Fisticuffs was gonna happen, the whole 50 versus Nas thing. You know what I mean? Like they was talking like that was really about to happen. But I think Nas just hit him with a couple of slight jabs, but it never really came into fruition like an actual diss record against him. If he did, if Nas created an Ether, I would want to hear it. You know what I'm saying? I think 50 might be reaching out to the crew. You know what I mean? Yeah, we're gonna need some more bars, man. We're gonna need some more bars. That's Esco we talking about. You know what I'm saying? Ether was no joke. We didn't know Ether was gonna. When Jay-Z dropped Takeover, we was like, damn, it's over. It's over. Like it's over for Prodigy, Mobb Deep, and it's over for Nas. And then Nas came back with the crazy haymaker. You know what I'm saying?
So we got another super chat here, man. Frank, I want to thank you for the super chat. He said Ja Rule tried to sing against 50, and then 50 came back with the A Queen's bazooka. Ryan, do you remember any time that Ja Rule tried to, what did he mean by that? Did he mean he just tried to release Thug Lovin' and Mesmerized?
Right. He tried to stick to the classic Murder Inc. sound, you know what I mean, and try to downplay the whole 50 beef, and the shit crawled up on him. You know what I mean? Like it's like drinking that Fort Loco, you know what I mean? It just sneaks up on you, and then before you know it, you're hit.
All right, you guys. So I have an article here that I wanted to bring up. It's basically about the same thing. It's an article on Hot New Hip Hop. The title is Ja Rule explains how the feds destroyed his world during the 50 Cent beef. Right away, responding to that headline, how the feds destroyed his world. First of all, Ja, if you were doing everything on the up and up, they should have never been able to destroy your world after making records like Always on Time, I'm Real, you know what I mean? All these records, writing What's Love. You know, if you're on the up and up, there should have been no destroying your world. It wasn't the feds that destroyed your world to the point where you're not doing shows in front of 100,000 people anymore. That was G-Unit.
Mm-hmm.
That was
losing J-Lo. That's another, that was another asset that Murder Inc. lost.
Right. Somebody in the chat said that the worst thing Irv Gotti ever did was, start that beef with J-Lo.
Yeah.
Talking reckless.
Over nothing.
Reckless.
So let me get into this article, you guys. It's on Hot New Hip Hop. Ja Rule explains how the feds destroyed his world during the 50 Cent beef. In a new exclusive interview with Talib Kweli. Apparently, this interview was with Talib Kweli. So he's with Talib. He's gonna have to keep it all the way real, right? RBH.
Definitely.
So in a new interview with Talib Kweli, Ja Rule opens up about the difficulties of engaging in rap beef while being investigated by the feds. Now, honestly, if I was a rapper, if I was rapping, Majestic, you can comment on this if you want. You know what I mean? If I was a rapper and I was getting investigated by the feds, I would use that to my advantage, first of all. I'd be like, yo, I'm getting investigated by the feds. Come and buy my album. You want to beef with me? You probably don't want to beef with somebody that's getting investigated by the feds, man. Am I wrong?
I mean, and those, well, not in those exact words, but yeah, you know what I'm saying? You got to use that as a marketing tool as well, because at the end of the day, it's about making money too. It's about making money. You got to generate it. So at the end of the day, you got to use that to your advantage. You got to go strong. And Murder Inc. didn't do that.
So Ja Rule and 50 Cent have been embroiled in a heated feud for decades, one rife with violence, anger, and disrespect. So Hot New Hip Hop actually has a complete history of the early years of their beef. And while the dust has settled for the most part, it's clear that neither one hold the other in particularly high regard to this day. Unsurprising, considered how deep-rooted the animosity really is. And yet, for many, it remains one of hip-hop's most fascinating conflicts, with fans who experienced it unfolding still interested in the nuisances and behind-the-scenes actions engaged by both 50 Cent and Ja Rule amidst the battle. Things like RIP Proof getting jumped in the middle of the battle, you guys. Things like Ja Rule and 50 Cent ending up on the same plane together at one time. Things like 50 Cent allegedly buying all the tickets to Ja Rule's shows. Things like this is what keeps all the 10 million. How many millions of people knew about their beef, Ryan, if you had to put a number on it?
Everybody. As big as 50 was, and that's what helped sell Get Rich or Die Trying.
Of course. The world knew. Half the world knew.
Because everybody knew who Ja Rule was. And then, you know what I mean? The next dude that's trying to take him out, 50 Cent, that's what helped Get Rich or Die Trying, in my opinion. It's not what sold it, but it helped the buzz. Remember, back in high school, you couldn't find a student that wasn't walking down to high school going, G-Unit. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Lucky Lou says Ja Rule has got to face the fact that hip-hop was shifting and his time was up. And Ryan, how many records did Ja Rule expect to sell releasing Thug Lovin' with Bobby Brown?
Bruh.
How many?
Bruh. Oh, they thought they was taking over with that record. They really did. You hear how hard Bobby was going on that hook?
Bobby was
going every time he spit on the mic.
Hey, yo, somebody disagrees with you to the fullest extent, Ryan. Steve Drive Lamron says, in the club, sold, get rich, stop it. And also, Majestic mentioned earlier that 50 said on the hook, he said, and Banks told me it, switch the style up. And if they hate, then let them hate, but watch the money pile up. But Majestic,
every song after that.
Majestic, speaking in reaction to what you said there, that's not what Banks meant when he said that. He didn't mean go after the females. When Banks said switch the style up, he meant do in the club instead of doing, The Good Die Young, instead of doing Slow Dough, instead of doing How to Rob. 50 was normally instead of doing Life's on the Line, he meant do in the club. Bang,
Yeah, start doing different things. Yeah.
didn't mean go do girl records, just to clarify that. In my
No.
But RBH. So Lamron said in the club sold Get Rich or Die Trying. Do you think it was in the club that sold Get Rich or Die Trying 800,000 units 2 weeks in a row?
Definitely played a part, but even before we knew anything about it in the club, that album was gonna blow. Before we even heard anything because of the hype based around it. And the hype comes from dealing with M, dealing with Dre, and beefing with Murder Inc. All those played a part. Then in the club just happened to have been the whole album just happened to have been a smash. But I'm telling you, before we knew anything about that album, it was gonna do those numbers before we heard in the club. Everybody wanted to hear the next Beef record. Everybody wanted to hear him work with Dre. Everybody wanted to work with M. They wanted to hear G Unit. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So I don't disagree with what Homeboy's saying, but I'm just saying they played more parts. It wasn't like nobody knew nothing about 50 Cent. And then all of a sudden we heard in the club and everybody was like, oh my God. You know what I'm saying? It lived up to the expectations that we had.
To me, it really seemed like 50 was the only one who thought this new album of his was only going to sell 125,000 units. I don't know. I was reading interviews with 50 back then, and it just didn't seem like he thought he was going to be the big superstar. But to be honest with you guys, like we spoke before, if 50 would have came out and sold $150, to me, that's a big artist.
Yeah, definitely. Another thing about switching the flow is this is after he got shot. After he got shot, he had to switch the way he rapped.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right. So let me get back into this article, though, you guys. So now Ja Rule has appeared on Talib Kweli's The People's Party podcast, where he proceeded to open up about his side of the story. When Talib inquired as to whether or not the Jadakiss and Fat Joe assisted New York helped shift the focus from the beef back to Ja's music, the Murder Inc. rapper seemed uncertain. I don't know, because the record was kind of a beef record, answers Ja. The verse was aimed at 50. I think that was a weird moment in time for me. I understand it now. The hot new guy comes out. I've been effing killing it for 3 albums now on every station, everything. People get tired of artists sometimes. Now, my rebuttal to that is that Ja Rule actually said, I've been killing it for 3 albums now. He did not include The Last Temptation in that, Ryan.
Nah, he definitely didn't. Probably should have, though. Not for nothing.
4 albums. You should have said 4 albums. Said 50 Cent beat Ja Rule, hijacked his music for the girls, and Ja Rule mad because 50 did it better.
This is true. This is true.
Sorry, Ryan.
I agree. I agree. When Irv and Ja went to the Breakfast Club, they said it. They were just like, okay, Murder Inc. is selling pizza, right? Everybody loves pizza. The pizza's selling. 50 Cent comes along and it's like, yo, that pizza's disgusting. Don't eat that pizza. So everybody stops eating the pizza because he's a bigger voice. You know what I mean? Now all of a sudden 50's like, hey guys, I got some pizza. You want it? You know what I'm saying?
All right, so listen to this, guys. Ja Rule said, when he came out and attacked my style and my character, people ran with it, continues Ja. He was a juggernaut with Interscope, M, and Dre. There was a lot of behind-the-scenes shit people didn't know. A lot of exec fighting between Lear and Jimmy Iovine, fighting for Doug Morris' position. There was a lot going on. It made a difficult time for me. On top of it all, people love to leave this part out of the story, but we was being investigated by the feds. Ja Rule says it's the biggest part of the story.
Man, look here. Talent and the feds is 2 different things. So, I'm always stick with that. But at the end of the day, 50 was very believable. You think M and Dre didn't know what they was doing when they was marketing behind him? Look at this guy. He was chiseled up. He rapped that gangster stuff. He had a good rep. You know what I'm saying? He had a street rep. And I mean, it's a sad thing he got shot, but it's also great when you're in music. You know what I'm saying? It's entertainment for everybody. They knew what they had. They knew it. So you think Ja Rule had a chance going up against that?
All right. So let me pose this question to you, RBH. So So Ja Rule goes on television. He's like, all right, y'all respect him for getting shot. Well, the story is that he's telling the police that we shot him. Ja Rule, what does MTV say? Does MTV and BET and all the stations say, Ja, if you're coming here with that story, we're not airing that story.
Pretty much. And you
Why
can't
not?
say too much because that would indict him too.
Yeah, but if he's already getting in trouble for it, why wouldn't he be like, well, the story behind it is he's saying that we shot him. That's the story of it. He's saying that we shot him. Why not take that story to CNN? Why not take that story to Fox? Okay, you guys want Fox will probably be like, I'm sorry, man. We'd rather have the story about the guy who got shot and see how he's recuperating. We really don't want to air the story about the guys who potentially shot him.
Right. Right. I can see that too. No, I could definitely see that.
Yeah,
I mean,
but I'm sorry, Ryan. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I mean, but you don't want to be running around screaming, you know what I'm saying, that if somebody's saying you shot them, you don't want to make it seem like you shot them. You know what I'm saying? Because that can end up in something totally different. You know? They wasn't gonna CNN wasn't gonna do that. They wasn't gonna do it. You would have had to tell too much.
Yeah, well, his career got ruined anyways.
Mm-hmm.
His career got ruined anyways, so why not go down with the fight? Yo, the feds are after me. Why not go? You know what I mean? The feds are after me. This dude, biggest rapper, you're saying he's the biggest rapper. He's saying I shot him. He's saying I messed with the people that shot him. Why not use that as a part of your marketing campaign?
Yeah.
Not for nothing. But would it worked? You would have had a better rebuttal. I'm guessing they were just trying to stay quiet. You know what I'm saying? Like while they were getting indicted and stuff. Because we didn't really, you know what I mean? It was like we didn't know until like after it was already, we didn't really know about it until they dropped the murder from the name. You know what I'm saying? Then Irv Gotti came out and was explaining what was going on, what the process was, trying to bring the ink back together and all that. So, I mean, I think they were just trying to stay tight-lipped about the whole thing. But you're right, though. That would have been a good.
I just want to address this one time because Jesse Jeremiah says that's confessing to attempted murder. I'm just saying that Ja Rule should have went online or went to the public and been like, you guys all respect 50 Cent, but he's going to the feds and telling them that my people actually shoot him. My people actually shot him. So like my people are the realest in the hood. You know what I mean? My people are the realest. Like, what the hell are you guys jacking 50 Cent? Then they would have been like, well, we're actually jacking 50 Cent because he has in the club right now. He's the biggest rapper right now. That's why we're jacking 50 Cent. Well, I mean, you know, your favorite rapper is trying to take my company under. But whatever, man. You know, like one of the people said, McGriff said in the bio, and I quote, that 50 Cent is a confused kid.
Yeah.
He's rich.
Right.
He's rich.
Is a hustler. He know how to play chess.
Wilson Fisk said, what about the studio stabbing? The studio stabbing that was with Black Child, whole fight that happened. There was 2 fights with 50 and Ja Rule. There was one in Atlanta before a show that 50 and Ja Rule were actually on the same bill for, and then there was another fight at the Hit Factory studio, I believe it was, when Benzino actually helped Ja Rule. I mean, not Ja Rule. Benzino actually helped 50 get away.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy. That's crazy. He brings that up too, because when 50 signed with M and Dre, they all agreed that he wasn't going to continue to be for Murder Inc. But then then Ja went into the magazine, started talking about how he stabbed him up and stuff. He resurrected the whole thing again. So it's like, you know what? Let him have it.
Yep. So Kendall Park says, Mikey T, why did 50 get away with making Candy Shop? You know, Ryan, RBH and myself, we addressed this the other day on the review for the Get Rich or Die Trying soundtrack. In 2005, why did 50 Cent get a pass for releasing Candy Shop, Ryan? And I can answer it like this. 50 actually released Candy Shop in March? By August of the same year, he had released Hustler's Ambition to redeem his integrity.
Right. And I'm pretty sure Candy Shop, but all right, the record is what it is. But if you listen to it lyrically, it's dope. Like he was being very sexual without actually being sexual. Like the whole song was one big metaphor. I give credit for the lyricism on it.
Of course.
And then Dre did the beat, right? Was it Dre or Scott Storch?
No, that was Scott Storch.
Yeah, Scott Storch. So there you go. Yeah.
Elgin asked Mikey T, why did 50 continuing beefing with Jadakiss? Well, as Ja Rule just said in this interview that we're reading about with Talib Kweli on his podcast, Ja Rule actually went in on the New York record actually being a straight up diss track. You know?
That New York record was hot.
They wasn't saying that at first, though. They wasn't saying it was a diss record at first. It's funny that now he's coming out years later saying it was.
So I'm down here in St. Louis. So our take on it was that was a reply to 50.
Right.
And, down here, it's like, we just listen to music. So down there, y'all know more about what's really going on, you know what I'm saying, than because we get everything late. So we like, oh shucks, we got a balance. Right. And then after that,
but why did 50 continue beefing with Kiss? Because 50's beef actually took on more life than just Jadakiss, you guys. 50 actually started going at it with Styles. 50 even started going at it a little bit with Sheik Luch. You know what I mean? So that actually took on a little bit more of a life of its own. Maybe also the fact that Jada has released one of the best 50 Cent diss records. RBH, tell him what the title of that diss track is.
Checkmate.
Checkmate.
Yeah, that was serious. That was serious.
That put a chink in 50's armor right there. And then my opinion, you guys, and then the game came in and totally riddled that shit with shots.
Thank you. I was just about to say that. Yup.
And then Rick Ross kicked down the door and destroyed it. Just my opinion.
Yep. Right after New York was released, right after Ja Rule put that out, Game hopped on it. And I remember that the radio was going crazy with that. I got 100 Bloods and 100 Crips. Yeah.
I could see everybody, like being from St. Louis Majestic, all of us knew, you know what I mean? Ryan and I being from the East Coast, all of us knew that the whole rest of the country was going to interpret it as a diss record. RBH, what do you think about Ja Rule going on Talib Kweli's podcast and really opening up like this?
Man, I think Ja need to hang it up, man. Work on something else. Work on the app, the Fire app. You know what I mean? Do that. Because trying to
app now, Ryan.
Oh, my bad. But trying to 50, I don't even look at 50 like a rapper anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like he's a man that raps. He's a mogul at this point. He does the TV shows, Power. Trying to strip this man of his credibility, all you're gonna do is, all right, not for nothing. If I'm the rich dude up in the office that's calling the shots, right? Oh, so he told? Oh, so he's really a good dude. I'm gonna do another deal with him. You know what I'm saying? It's not cool to be a gangster at a corporate level. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody has to be law-abiding citizens. So if you're really trying to strip this man's credibility and say, oh, he's not a gangster, you can do that if he was still rapping, if he was still portraying that image. He ain't portraying that image. The only image he's portraying is what he's posting on Instagram. Facts. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of a day late and a dollar short, man. All this information that he's saying in the interview should have been on the blood of my eye. We should have heard it then. But even that album should have came out way sooner than it did.
But a lot of people are giving me hell about saying this, Ryan, but it was a rumor. It was a rumor back in the day that 50 was going to take the stand against Supreme. It was a rumor. I'm not sitting on here and saying that it's true or anything. I read it in the dirt sheets back in the day. You know what I mean? So
I've seen that too.
Yeah, you know what I mean? In Majestic answered, he said there's no way in hell 50 would have taken the stand at that point in his career. It would have jeopardized everything for him.
So then they ended up using his lyrics instead.
So RBH got his point off. RBH wanted to speak about that, about 50 being at another place in his life right now where you can't really try to take any stripes away from him in the hood because that shit doesn't matter anymore.
No.
Majestic, I want to get your take on Ja Rule going and talking to Talib Kweli this open.
It's too late, brother. My take on that is just like, bro, come on, man. Like, you still talking about that? Like, at the end of the day, it's like, bro, you got smashed. To me, it sounds like he is just constantly trying to cover up for the fact that he got his ass handed to. Stop blaming the feds. Stop blaming the feds, man. Stop it. Come on, man. Okay, let's take it back. even when 50 was, you know what I'm saying, doing stuff with track masters and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? You know, getting shot, people not answering the phone and stuff like that. The man still made a return. You know what I'm saying? Stop blaming it on this, man. Like, your circumstances ain't gotta be that. Like, nah, man. Ja Rule, stop. Hang it up, bro. You got murdered. You got murdered.
She tried to hook up with J-Lo again. Like, focus your attention outside of 50, man. Like, bruh. Like, you still making headlines with 50 Cent? Like, yeah, cut that out, man. It's too late. Day late, dollar short. Nobody care no more. Make some music.
50 played chess his whole career.
All
Look where
right,
it got
not for nothing. Not for nothing. Like how we were saying earlier, or Mikey T was saying, when he was under investigation, right? He could have used that, you know, he could have used that for free promotion because, like, yo, that's page 6. You know what I mean? They're already rapping or they're already talking about you typing up articles that you're not paying for. That's on a mass media platform. You know what I'm saying? He could have went that route. But as long as he was putting out quality music at the same time, he would have won. And I don't want to bring it up, but R. Kelly, Rick Ross, 2 people who were caught up in lies or in a scandal. You get what I'm saying? And they were able to beat it by putting out music. Chocolate Factory. Or what was Rick Ross's second album?
Rick Ross's second album, Triller.
Yeah, right, Triller.
All right, yo. So Fendi says, Mikey, do you think it's crazy how many people they needed that much people to try and take him down? I think he's referring to M50, D12, Dr. Dre, Obi Trice, Yayo, Banks, Buck. Ryan, did they need all of them to take him down?
You got to understand where 50 was coming from, man. When 50 was locked up after, you know, he got locked up after he got stabbed, right? Or after he got shot up. So, I mean, like, you're in jail and the people that shot you are on the radio singing. You know what I'm saying? Then you come home, you trying to get a record deal, you getting blackballed, you getting shut down everywhere. So you got all this built up animosity. You know what I'm saying? Then you got the Source magazine, a big media platform for hip hop, the Bible of hip hop, and they're not trying to give you no play. They're not trying to give you no plug. You get what I'm saying? So then when you finally crawl through the cracks and you hook up with Dr. Dre and Eminem, yo, all of that, from the fist fights to growing up on the block together, from the tussles to getting shot, all that. I mean, and it's just like, yo, your beef is mine. You're not 4-9.
So 50, Steve says 50 was beefing with The Game, Fat Joe, Rick Ross, Jadakiss, Styles P, Cameron, French Montana. But the thing about that was all these guys, they didn't come together to diss 50. All of those guys came together and started making good music. That was the thing about it, Majestic.
Yep, I agree. 50 was pulling stuff out of people, you know what I'm saying? Like, but that's the whole thing about rap, you know? That's the whole thing about rap, man.
50 done it to himself. Okay. Fendi says, I meant the diss track with Game, Ja, Joe. Yeah, at one point, Ja Rule did assemble all of his enemies and put them all on a track. I think it was Ross who actually put Game and Ja on a track. Yeah, and Damo and Dice did a remix of that track. But yeah, that didn't really phase 50, to be honest. You know, I think it was more the general music of Ross's success.
Yeah. Yep.
But yeah, you guys, man, I think that'll do it on this topic tonight. Majestic, will you let everybody know where to follow you on the gram so everyone can get in tune with you, bro?
Yo, this your boy Majestic from St. Louis, man. If you're trying to reach me, if you're trying to follow me, man, Majestic_314 on Instagram, man. Holla at me, follow me, I follow back.
Okay, before I get into Ryan's, Fast Eddie says, how did Rick Ross win? Go watch Pimp and Curly. All right, I don't want an answer on that, guys. We might have to come back in another time and speak on 50 Cent and Rick Ross's beef and break that whole thing down in full. But Ryan, RBH, let everybody know how they can tap in with you, my brother.
What up? It's your boy Ryan B. Easy. Homie coming straight from the Elm City, repping the Elm City, New Haven, Connecticut, for those that don't know. And you can follow me on IG, Facebook, Instagram, and Snapchat. All at Ryan B. Easy. HYEEZE. Holla at your boy. I follow back.
Well, you'll have to tune in next time to see our opinion on if Ross beat 50. You'll have to see everybody's opinion. Maybe Majestic has a different opinion. Maybe RBH has a different opinion. I have my own. Salute to the panel. That's right. Everybody tell a friend about the channel, Report Card Radio. It's Mikey T, Movie Star. I got 2 dope hosts with me, Majestic from St. Louis, RBH from New Haven. So we got different perspectives, you guys. Let everybody know about this channel. Everybody should tell a friend about this channel. I'm pretty sure a lot of the people watching have friends that all are in tune with hip hop, right, guys?
Of course,
Definitely.
of course. Music runs the world, man.
Appreciate you, Peasy. Findy, thank you for the questions. We'll tap in on that on another episode. 50 and Kanye, guys, they want us to tap in on Graduation versus Curtis. All right. Talk to y'all later.
Report Card Radio, step them grades up.